Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you for coming. We are item 3 on the agenda. As a reminder to everyone, our mission is to encourage everyone to see and be his or her personal best through successful learning experiences. In other words, become your best. Now we move on to item 4. Board Clerk Sally Isley will administer the oath of office to the individuals who were re-elected or elected as members of the Board of Education.
If everybody wants to go in the center.
What's that? I could have talked over. Big group.
Just state your name after I say. I state your name.
I, Bob Travis,
Who have been elected to the office of school board.
who has been elected to the office of school board,
But have not yet entered upon the duties thereof.
that have not yet entered upon my duties thereof,
Swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
And the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin.
and the Constitution of the state of Wisconsin,
And will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability.
and will faithfully discharge the duties of said office to the best of my ability,
So help me God.
so help me God. Congratulations. All right, you made good work of that. We'll move on to adoption. Item 5, the adoption of the agenda and consent agenda as an order of business with the identification of items to be taken off the consent agenda for discussion or separate action. Second. First and second, all in favor say yes? Yes. Opposed? All right. Now we need to consider approval of the consent agenda as adopted. To approve the minutes from March 15th, 2022 Board of Education meeting. Approve the financial report for the period of July 1, 2021 through March 31st, 2022. And approve the bills for the period of March 1st, 2022 through March 31st, 2022 in the amount of $2,577,295.90.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor say yes? Yes. Opposed? Board district leadership and leadership team strategic planning. Go ahead.
The legislative update, as of right now, the legislative and legislator and district administrator meetings are postponed until September. There have been little movement on both sides for quite a bit of time, and so there's been a decision to just hold on those. I will continue to contact legislators and advocate for the needs of the Plymouth School District on an individual basis. And so I'll have updates related to those things in the future. I can also bring in updates related to just some of the big state issues that are going on. You see some of them in the communication that you get from the board association, but I also get additional ones from the Superintendent's Association as well. And we have our spring district administrator conference actually here in Elkhart Lake So all the district administrators from the state will be here for the next 3 days. So, and there's a lot of legal updates and some legislative updates that happen in there, so I can bring some of that back in our next meeting as well.
Great. Thanks, Dan.
Who should we be contacting as far as our legislature?
Terry Katzma, Devin Levnahue, and for now, Tyler Vorpagel. I think he is.
He'll be done in the end of summer, right?
Yeah, he's not going to run for another term.
Yeah.
But he still is acting as of now.
Okay.
All right. Academic Pillar of Excellence. A, to consider approval of proposed revisions to adopt the 2021-2022 elementary school student and parent handbook for 2022-2023 school year. Nick O'Malley.
Hi there, good evening again. As reported to you last week, the elementary school handbook for next year will have the additions of policies related to attendance and controversial issues in the classroom that you have reviewed in the past.
Do we need a motion to
I make
approve?
a motion that we approve the handbook with the changes that we talked over last week.
Second.
Any other questions for Nick? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Thanks, Nick. Finance, Buildings and Grounds, the budget update, Amy.
Yep, so just like we talked about last week, Monday, our expenses are currently somewhere around 50 to 55% of our budget for the fiscal year, which is a great position for us to be in. It's right where we want to be. Now is the time that I start to really comb through expenses, make sure things are in the right accounts. Our audit is in a couple months. And, you know, we start to get an idea of what accounts we might have a surplus in, what ones we might not. We start making grant claims, moving money, things like that in all different funds. So we're right where we want to be and, you know, where we've been in the past. So things are really good right now.
Any questions for Amy? I know we talked about this in committee of whole. No? All right. Thank you, Amy. Discuss and consider approval of the recommendation from the business office to accept the proposal for the track resurfacing project at Plymouth High School. Amy, more to tell us.
So we are recommending the approval of the bid from Athletic Field Services. This bid that we received has 3 different options, and the third option is the one that is best suited for our track and, you know, what we want out of it. It's also the only company that has that option, so that's the main reason why we chose them. But they also have good references, a good track record, and with our harsh winters and stuff like that. So they've worked with other area schools nearby. So the cost right now, we're estimating around $125,000 for that option, which is a water-based spray that, I don't know, goes all over this track. But as we get more into the project and stuff, you know, we'll just kind of see where things fall. If there's additional work that has to be done that we don't know about right now, then we might have to go with one of these other options that are less expensive, but right now that's the option that we would choose, and definitely the company that we would like to work with.
So, any questions for Amy on the proposal?
What was it that we allotted budget-wise? Was it 120?
No, we had allotted for the track
Yep.
and the drainage and some of that groundwork there, we had allotted about $300,000
Okay.
for.
Okay.
So there,
The drainage cost maybe?
no, not yet. the engineering company has been there and done some of the borings already, and so we'll be finding that out shortly.
Sure.
And you said you had checked into references as well. Are there districts around here that?
Well, I believe Dan Knaus checked into references, and, yeah, he listed off some schools.
Kewaskum and Lakeland and Falls. AFS is a pretty common company. They work well with districts that experience our kind of weather.
Good.
Right.
Good. All right. So we need a motion to approve or not? We're-
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. So I need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the allotted dollars for the budget.
Second.
Motion and second. Is there any other discussion? Then all in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? All right. There you go.
Thank you.
Now we will consider gifts and corresponding budget adjustments.
Yes, and every month we approve gifts and we make our budget adjustments for them. And again, I just would say thank you to the community and thank you. We have a very generous group in our area that every month there are donations that go to helping kids do field trips, make improvements in classrooms and all kinds of things. So again, thank you. So this month, we have a donation of $557.23 from the Plymouth Education Foundation for Caught Reading Club at Riverview Middle School. We have a donation of $473.31 from the Riverview Student Council for transportation to Lake Shore Lanes. We have a donation of $123.39 from the Boys Basketball Booster Club. And there is, the adjustments both to expenditures and revenue will be made accordingly with those donations. So again, thank you.
So I need a motion to approve the gifts and corresponding budget adjustments.
Make a motion to approve the gifts and corresponding budget adjustments.
Motion and second. Any other discussion other than a thank you for those who so generously give to our district? All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again. Item 10, policy. Consider approval of second reading of Neola Policy Updates, Volume 31, Number 1.
Kathy, if you'd like, I can just talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, I do. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I do have the policies here. I don't know, were there questions? Are there any other questions about it?
No, that was what I was going to be able to just say too, was if you have questions or if you'd like to have a little discussion about that, we could do that now.
I'm good. Katrina printed out the policy.
Oh, you're good?
For fun.
Okay, all right,
I'm good, I get it now.
Okay.
all right.
Yes.
Thank you, Janelle.
You're welcome. Nothing here.
Yeah, Kathy, Janelle had a big, long list to ask you questions, but she's gonna hold those back.
I'm good.
Okay.
All right, so, do we need approval at this time? Yeah, so, motion to approve?
Make a motion, we approve the second reading of Neola Policy Updates, Volume 31, Number 1.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? Item 11, period of public participation. Recognize those who may wish to address the board regarding items not on the agenda. Katrina, we have a list of people.
Okay, and I understand 5 minutes is your allotted time?
5 minutes is the allotted time. We ask that when you come forward, you introduce yourself and I guess introduce your topic. Please speak to us and understand that we are here to listen. Because the items are not on the agenda, we cannot discuss amongst ourselves or make policy to what you're here to talk about. That's the open records law, and that's what we're following. But we are listening, so anything you bring forward, we will listen and note and discuss further, and then provide feedback in different methods, different forms, one of which will be either my president's report or Dan Mella's report will be public areas where you'll receive responses. So at this time, Katrina will call, and please respect the time limit so everyone has an opportunity to
One
speak.
thing they need to tell their address as well.
Oh, I'm sorry, your address as well.
Okay, Joanne Friedman, you can come on up here.
All right, so come down in the middle? Okay.
Thank you. And then just state your name and your address, and what you'd like to support.
All right. Hi, I am Joanne Friedman. The address is W6654 County Trunk Road V, Cascade, Wisconsin. And I've come here today to thank you. I am so thankful that you are going to work to protect the children on school grounds, and that you are taking that on as the leadership in our county of Sheboygan, as the first school district to try to put this in place. I just want to clarify that besides pesticides, which pesticides is the broad topic, and underneath it are a whole variety of other toxic chemicals, insecticides, herbicides, fungicides that are all underneath. And the synthetic nitrate fertilizer that is included in weed and feed also causes cancer. We have all heard the lawsuits that are going on now with Monsanto, and the reason why it's happening is because we were all lied to. They deceived us with their lies about their products, and even more than that, they have taken toxic waste material from the oil refineries and they put them into all of the pesticides. It's illegal. And they are not listed in the inert ingredients. That's why, as it was with the cigarette companies, lying to us about cigarettes causing good digestion, and now it's happened with the chemical companies. I am so thankful that you are putting in this move and this program to end up keeping our children safe where they play. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Dr. Jerry Friedman.
I am Dr. Jerry Friedman. I'm a physician. I live at W6654 County Road V, Cascade. I'm a physician. I'm also a clinical professor at the Medical College of Wisconsin. And it didn't take me many years to think back to the tobacco industry when I was a youngster. They were telling us not only was it safe, but their products were actually good for us. And I hearken now to the industry that's selling chemicals for the lawns, and most scientists know that they're definitely not healthy for individuals. It's in our streams, it's in our groundwater, it's not safe, and I thank the board for considering stop using chemicals on the public properties of the school district.
Thank you, Jack.
Next up, Janet Malone.
Hi, everybody. My name is Janet Malone. My address is W6961 Highway 28, Cascade, Wisconsin. My husband and I moved to our current residence 24 years ago, and we are the proud parents of 5 graduates from Plymouth High School, and one that is a current sophomore here yet. And I just wanted to mention that my husband and one of those sons is state licensed, and they work in wastewater treatment. And another son is a environmental engineer who took our youngest son, a graduate last year, along with him to work on dredging out waters with his company where they're cleaning up pollution out of water. So toxic chemicals are important to us, seeing them banned. And I just wanted to thank you for listening and for learning and educating yourselves to stop using pesticides and toxic chemicals on the lawns of the kids, that the kids play on. So I wanted to do that. And as I support the schools educating our students about the dangers of tobacco and alcohol and drug use, I would like to also encourage you to look at educating our children about the dangers of pesticides and toxic fertilizers and chemicals. So, thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joanne.
Okay, next up is Mary Grove. Did I say that right? Yes, you did, okay.
My maiden name is White, and you would not believe how many people can mispronounce that. Grow. Grow is just what a plant does, except my name has an E at the end, so people are all thrown off. So my name is Mary Grow. I'm from 2419 State Avenue in New Holstein, Wisconsin. So I'm not part of the Plymouth School District, but I am very much an environmentalist. Paul Tukey, back in 2007, published this book. And 30 to 40% increase in the mortality of dogs and cats is veterans have reported due to lawn chemicals. Now, dogs and cats aren't kids. They're much smaller. They have a much smaller defense immune system. But our kids, who have developing immune systems, are also susceptible. This was published in 2007. Things haven't changed except that they've gotten worse. There's a movement for private lawns that if we stopped using pesticides, we would have the largest national park in the world. So it's not just the school district, but it's also our personal use. But I come to you from New Holstein. I presented this to my city council probably 10 years ago, and it fell on deaf ears. And if I need to go to the school board, congratulations, start with the school board and then go to the city. But this is not a new problem, but it's an exacerbated problem, and it can't be ignored. Now, the challenge is we have very strong agricultural programs in our districts that are promoting a strong use of chemical ingredients. So I understand that it can kind of be caught between a rock and a hard place. Like if you start with this athletic fields and the play areas to protect our children, are you sending a message to the FFA that maybe they should start to look at their programming, and what are we saying in the future to how our agricultural business works? So I understand that you have a big challenge ahead of you, but I just wanted to come and again thank you and applaud you for being willing to listen and being willing to learn and hopefully being willing to change, because other school districts can then follow your example. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Karen McFadden.
Hello, I'm Karen McFadden, and I live at N5549 Catherine Drive in Plymouth. And I'm a local Plymouth School District resident and a lifelong organic gardener. And I'd like to thank the school board for committing to eliminate the pesticide and harmful non-chemical usage. I really appreciate that. I think you, as others have said, you've been listening and acting, and I appreciate that. I think it shows leadership in the county, and hope that other school districts will take your lead. Eliminating pesticides protects the kids, it protects wildlife, pollinating insects, the air and the groundwater. And it also saves money for your crops. So I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Michael Fadson.
Everyone's been so nice to you guys tonight. This is my first school board meeting, and I think I'll come to more of them. I've been, my address is N5549 Catherine Drive, Michael McFadden. I've been following the school that lived in the area for 40 years. It's been, and I really a supporter of K through 12 education. I really think the Plymouth School District has done a great job looking at academics. Looking at athletics last year, they really did a good job. But and now you're showing some real leadership along with the pesticide move. So just want to accolades to to the board and to the decision makers and keep it up. And again, it is showing leadership to other school districts and our community.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
If you can do anything about our spring weather.
Way out of our zone.
Next up, we have John Binder.
Bob, you got a big smile on your face. My name is John Binder, and I live on a pesticide-free property here at 421 Ann Drive in Plymouth. And hopefully that'll spread across this whole city. I'm just here just to say thank you for this wonderful headline that was in the paper last week. School district commits to phase out pesticide use. And I know in past conversations I've had with both administration and with the president of the ward, there were indications that you folks were concerned about that. But I think you made a serious commitment. We really appreciate that. I want to thank you for doing that. I know Bob and I had a nice conversation here a few days ago. And we ended up, I kind of smiled with the ending conversation. I said, you know, if you look at the arches that are on both ends of Main Street, it says, cheese capital of the world. Wouldn't it be nice to have another plaque? A pesticide-free city. That would be wonderful. So thank you for what you've done.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, next up is Robert. Thank you, Robert. Sure. Come on down.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is Robert Ingram, and I live at W5549 Keystone Road in Elkhart Lake, which is also a pesticide-free property. When I saw that you guys were planning on doing something about this, I knew I had to come over and just say thank you. I've been hoping for this for years, and people don't listen, and I never thought the little guy could really make a difference against the big chemical companies, but it's got to start somewhere, Somebody's got to be brave enough to make the move, and I just really hope and pray that Elkhart Lake takes your lead. I really appreciate you guys taking the lead on this. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russ.
Next up is Katie Kane.
Hi, I'm Katie Kane. I live at 735 Oriole Lane in Plymouth. I have 2 children in the Plymouth School District. I'm an alumni of Plymouth as well, so I'm just here to say thank you for your leadership. When I think about Plymouth and I think about my children going here, and when I was here, I always thought of our school district as being leaders and always trying to do what was best. So I think that while this isn't one step, fixes everything kind of movement, I think that, sometimes being the first one to step forward and do something is brave, and it shows in many different ways to all the generations that have been here and also that are going through the district too. So thank you for your, engagement in the, thought process. I don't know exactly what the phase out portion of that all entails, so I'd be interested in learning more about that, but thank you.
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
And that's it.
Right. Well, thank you all very much for your input. And from there, we will continue listening and continue to try to make this district better. So thank you for your time and your input. From there, we move on to item 12, board liaison reports, starting with community education and Sally.
Community education, there's always a lot going on there. They do have classes coming up. Herbal first aid is going to be happening this Thursday. If you want to practice your golf swings, you can do that Saturday down in the multi-purpose room that is new. They also have cardio kickboxing available and kayaking, and actually the kayaks are part of it. So if you don't have your own kayak and you want to go out and try it, that is on our community ed classes also. They do have group hikes available. They also have fitness and aquatic classes. And this summer, during summer school, the little kids, preschool kids, will have the summer Squiggles and Wiggles, which is held at the same time that the summer school classes are being held. Go on the Community Ed website and check out everything that's available. That's it.
Great. Thank you, Sally. Foundation, that's me. We had our meeting this past week. The foundation is in the midst of planning for Scholarship Awards Night, which is coming up May, 12th or something? I should have made it, is it earlier? But that's all coming up. It's always exciting to hear from that committee within the foundation as they talk about the students that are graduating and their plans. There's a lot of excitement there. Foundation also is continuing to look for ideas for teachers that are writing grants, perhaps even maybe a grant written around our environmental practices might be a real interesting grant for the foundation to consider as well. So foundation is doing well, and as always, if you have some spare change you'd like to donate, the foundation would gladly use your money to help improve the educational experience of all our students. From there, it's Family Resource Center and Dan.
Family Research Center of Sheboygan County. I'll just go through a couple of the upcoming events that we have. Starting April 21st, and then again May 19th, they'll have everybody's favorite Bring Your Own Baby. And then coming up after that, we have on May 11th, we have the Spring 2022 Literacy Council New Tutor Training Program. So if you're interested in that, you can get in touch. The positive parenting discussion, probably a good topic for my family as well, a hassle-free mealtimes with children. So that's coming up May 16th, 5 to 7:30 p.m. And then the big one, we have a 25th anniversary fundraiser at Nourish Farms, May 21st. That starts at 4, ends at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan. Good information. Finally, CSIS 7, and I get that we need to have a delegate for the 2022-2023 school year, and that requires, a nomination and or just someone to accept the role?
Somebody has to accept the role.
And I found this little Post-it note. Is Kathy interested in accepting that role?
Kathy was last year.
She was
so
last
I
year.
didn't know if
Oh,
remember that.
okay, I just saw the note, I thought it was, she's volunteering.
Can I nominate
I
somebody?
did it last year, and I'm willing to do it unless somebody else would like to.
Oh,
How many meetings did you have last year, Kathy?
I just get the updates, and then their annual meeting I went to.
Okay, because it's like every year there's really no meetings.
Yeah.
all right, so you'd be willing to continue in that role?
Sure.
That's great. Is there anyone else that's interested in the role? Do we do it by
Can you
motion then? or
explain a
approve?
little bit of the background of that roll call? Or
These-
Kathy, or Sally?
Yeah, do you want to explain CISA 7 and what you do?
It's a support system for the different CISAs or different regions of the state, and it offers a lot of different supports for different districts. So we are part of CISA 7. So the meeting that I went to, they elect their board. Jeff Dickert is in charge. I think he's retiring.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of an overview of what it is they offer, just different ways of supporting districts. And
What does CISA stand for?
Cooperative Education Support Agency, Cooperative Educational Support Agency, right?
And the 7
And
is
there's
just our.
the districts?
There's 11 regions in the state.
Yeah.
Just, like ours goes from about southern, Door County to Lewisburg. It's about the south, and all along the lake shore. So their offices in Green Bay.
And I think their annual meeting is always on the night that we always had the teachers, the staff recognition dinner. It seems like it was always on the
I
same
think you're right.
night. It's like, no, we want to go.
Okay, so, you good?
Yep, I'm good.
All right, so motion to nominate,
It's just an appointment. It's just a,
oh,
Yep.
I don't even, okay. You're
Just needs to be
appointed,
agreed.
thank you.
Yes.
you're welcome.
All right, we move on to item 13, personnel. Dan?
yes, we have some teaching staff that will need to be, there need to be a motion on those, and then there's a support staff after without, so. All right, the first one is the board will consider the approval of the retirement request from Judy Dykstra, 7th grade teacher at Riverview Middle School, effective the end of this school year. Judy has been with the school district for 34 years.
Wow.
A long-time teacher. Judy will be missed. The board will consider the resignation from Jennifer Weinhold. She's a 4K teacher at Horizon Elementary School, effective at the end of this school year. Jennifer has been with the school district for 5 years. The board will consider the resignation of Erin Hunke, a band teacher at Riverview Middle School and Plymouth High School, effective the end of this school year. Erin's been with the district for 1 year. Board will consider approval of a 100% contract for Jenna Rupnow to be a special education teacher at the Plymouth High School, beginning with the 2022-23 school year. Jenna received her bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. This will be her first year of teaching. Board will also consider the approval of the 100% contract for Megan Balbrecht to be a special education teacher at Fairview Elementary School, beginning with the 2022-23 school year. Megan received her bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. This will be her 4th year of teaching. The board will consider the approval of a 100% contract for Kristen Vogel to be a special education teacher at Horizon Elementary School, beginning next school year. Kristen received her bachelor's degree from the University of Wisconsin-Oshkosh. This will be her 10th year of teaching. So we can have a motion to accept all those.
So, I need a motion to accept the contracts.
I'll make a motion, we accept the contracts. As
Second.
stated.
All in favor, say yes.
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 Opposed? All right. And support staff update.
Well, there's another little step in there
Oh.
yet, which is,
Approval of a tentative agreement.
right, so in our meeting with the PEA, the board reached a tentative agreement with the PEA about base wage. That's all the board and a labor union for teachers can negotiate, which is base wage. In this district, base wage is defined as the first year starting salary of a teacher with no experience. So like a person fresh out of college, that is the base wage. And this year, the agreement was reached that there would be 0% increase on that base wage. With other supplemental things that we can talk about later, but that's the only thing that we need to do. It's kind of a formality. We adjust the wages every other year. The scales change based on comparisons. This is the year where we don't adjust the teachers, we adjust the support staff.
Okay. And so we need a motion to approve them.
I move we approve the tentative agreement for total base wage.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor, say yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And now the support staff update.
Yes.
Brenda Burton has been hired as a special education aide at Fairview Elementary School. John Rory has submitted his retirement as head custodian at Parkview Elementary. John's been with the district for 16 years. Had a long discussion with John about his retirement. He's got plenty of plans.
Good.
Erin Cullen has submitted her resignation as a special education aide at Plymouth High School. Erin's been with the district for 1 year. Lynn Copine has submitted her resignation as a cook server at Horizon Elementary School. Lynn's been with the district for 1 year. We don't need a motion or I don't need to approve those.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Item 14 is consent agenda request. We have none. We move on to item 15, which is the president's report. Tonight, I'd just like to revisit again communication. We've had a lot to hear from the public lately, and I know our responses sometimes, there are questions about, well, did we answer the question or not? And it really comes down to communication, and the key of communication is, one, is that we listen, and two, when we convey what we're saying, you know, we're relying on resources and information that we know to be the best that we have. So when community members come forward and they ask of us to respond, we try to do the best we can to respond in a way that they can understand, you know, what it is that we need to convey to them, but they have to be cognizant of the fact that there are confines that we have to operate within. The best example of this is, and I'm gonna just hit on it again, just briefly, but when it comes to Title IX, to a transgender student, there's only so much that we are going to state in any way of the policy, if you will, or how we approach this, because we have to follow Title IX. So just based on our attorney's recommendation, if a transgender student expresses a desire to use a restroom or a locker room that is different from their physical gender, the school administration will work with the student on a case-by-case basis, which means the student needs to come forward to administration or staff, and we'll have that conversation. And that's as far as we can go. And we will then develop a solution that is within the confines of Title IX and case law that supports that. The second thing is the administration will make a general statement about our policy regarding transgender students. But the timing of those statements cannot coincide with when a transgender student actually expresses this need. So the protection there is not to identify a transgender student in any way or form that could lead to some form of discrimination. And finally, and we will look for other ways to do those general announcements regarding transgender students and how we work with students. And then regarding that, just to be clear then, there'll be no specific discussion, communication about a transgender student by, about a specific student by anyone on the staff, any coach, any administrator, any team. That's just not going to happen, and for a specific group of individuals to hear specific information about a specific transgender student. It just is not within the requirements that we have to follow. So I hope it's clear. I don't know how to make it more clear, but that's the information that we have right now. Beyond that, just remember, we have rules about bullying, we have rules about dress code, and yes, we will always execute those rules and make sure that all kids in this district feel safe, feel protected, and if there's any question that they feel bullied or intimidated in any way, they should reach out to the administrator within the school for help. Finally, I hope this is clear, but I want to remind all parents that if you have a question, if you're concerned, the first thing you need to do is reach out to the school and talk to the administrators at the school and ask your question and give us a fair opportunity to answer your question. Unfortunately, people rely on other sources of information first, and it's just not, it's not fair to the administration, it's not fair to this district that you haven't approached the district first. So again, please come forward and ask the question, and let's not rely on Facebook or other social media. Let's rely on a conversation that we can have as a district and as families and as students, and I think your voice will be heard, and we'll try to give you the best answers that we can possibly give. Okay? And that's all I have to say in regards to communication this evening. Dan, you're up.
All right, for once, our message is not aligned.
Really?
No, there's just so much going, although spring has been nasty, and so we're so far behind on games and events and things, it's crazy. And then with the busing shortages, it's with personnel shortages and busing, that adds another layer of trouble brewing. But it brought to mind for me how much stuff there is to do here as a student in this district. We have just great opportunities, and we had a conversation a while back before some of you were on the board, talking about what is the Plymouth School District about. And we really focused in on comprehensive. And the fact that you can have kids that are environmental engineers or become real estate moguls or become, anything they want to be, environmentalists. There's just a ton of opportunity. We have ag, and good solid programs for a school district our size in agriculture, in tech ed, in engineering, in business and accounting. I mean, there's a lot of school districts. Sheboygan North has one business ed teacher. We have two. They're quite a bit bigger than us. So there's a lot of opportunity in this school district, and I think we sometimes forget about that, and I just thought it's a good time to remind ourselves that, yeah, there are issues out there, and we're all working through issues, but there's also a lot of great opportunity here, and so many kids, you just heard more stories tonight, have gone out and had great careers in all kinds of different things. So I thought, so tonight's, my little talk would be about, I get so many examples of student accomplishments and teacher accomplishments every month for this, and I always kind of weed through and pick some, and I don't want to go on a litany. But tonight I'm going to go on a litany, because there just are so many of them.
All right.
So, math. We've got the Wisconsin Mathematics Council competition. The PHS math group participated in it, and our team finished second in our division. And within the top 10 regardless of division in the entire state. So that's fantastic. So Nick Serschel finished second overall for individuals in our division, which makes him first team All-State. Matt Sheridan, Kevin Smith, Jacob Grutner, Forrest Olson, and Marco Troca all finished as second team All-State members. So we've got that going on. In Tech Ed, we had a former student, Marissa Rader, came back to speak to the engineering course. She was a former engineering student here, and she did a 45-minute presentation on coding. Well, she went to school at Madison and got a degree in psychology. Turned around, didn't that wasn't her cup of tea, and got into coding, which she had done some in our high school, and then took a job at Northwestern Mutual, and she loves it. And she was just talking to the kids about, your path can change, but the foundational pieces were there. And so the message was, don't ignore these foundational pieces that you might not have an interest in right now, because maybe it's coming your way. And then we had the little second graders last week come up to the Tech Ed area, and they got to see the welding booths and all that kind of stuff, and get their first, and for some, maybe their last for quite a while, an exposure to those kinds of places. So fantastic stuff. Ag and FFA, our ag teacher, one of our ag teachers, she's presented here before, Tracy Heinbach, is this year a Cole Fellow. There are only 100 teachers in the state that get that award. It's kind of like, my oldest son asked, what's that like? And I was trying to describe it. It's kind of like a Grammy for teaching, But there also is a $6,000 grant that comes to the district and a $6,000 award that goes to her. But it's just a really cool recognition. But she was writing to tell me about the cool things the students are doing. And so, we had in the state, UW-Madison on April 29th, their big competition, and there are only 20 to 25 teams, they're ag teams with different categories, that advance to the state level competition every year. Well, we've got 5 of them advancing to the state level competition. We've got dairy evaluation, livestock evaluation, horse evaluation, ag mechanics, and veterinary sciences. And that's 19 students on 5 teams out of the total in the state, which is only 20 to 25. So leadership was spoken about before. We are leading. PHS also had I should have brought my glasses, Katrina. Forensics.
You want one?
I can put it on farther. So our forensics activities, we won a third place trophy in the medium team division at the virtual VFCA Forensic State competition. So, almost every high school's got forensics, and we're taking 3rd place at state. So, again, awesome. Parkview, we've got, it all starts when the kids are little, and just so in 4K, Courtney Sippel's classes are watching caterpillars transform into butterflies. We've got John Rory is doing he's retiring, but he's doing a whole recycling thing with the kids and really getting into what's happening with recycling. So, again, it starts when they're little, and they're awesome. Middle school band is going to be playing the national anthem at the Brewers game on the 8th or 9th.
It's the 9th.
Yeah, so the 7th and 8th graders are going to be performing the national anthem for the Brewers baseball game on the...
Nice.
It coincides with the last day of school.
Right.
Which the timing is
Perfect.
Perfect.
Yep. And then middle school is kicking off a run. They've got the Susical the Musical is coming up on Thursday. It goes through Sunday. You can still get some good tickets, but our musicals on the middle school and the high school are fantastic. And the band will also be performing at Lakeland as part of the annual WSMA Large Group Festival on Thursday, April 28th. Let's see here. Another one, we've got the PHS Marching Band just marched at Disney. Robo Riot is our first robotics team. We have a robotics team that is a cooperative among a number of different schools. I competed in the Milwaukee Regional on March 25th and 26th, and the team was ranked 13th out of 42 teams. I mentioned FFA before, and that's wonderful. And Dan also mentioned for the athletic side of things that spring is terrible. Might be the worst ever. And they got other performing arts, the Jolly Pranksters. It's a comedy sports team. This one I thought was really cool. That's why I saved it to the end. Has been asked to go to Johnsonville to provide improv training for their employees this Friday, the 22nd. The training is meant to help the employees improve elevator pitches and public speaking skills. So our high school Jolly Pranksters team is helping corporate.
I'm going to find that
Are you going to go
meeting.
to it?
I want to find it, yeah.
That's cool.
Things are in our community. And so it's just an example. I have this many and more every month. And I know this was a long, drawn-out process, but this kind of cool stuff is happening all the time. So it's good to know that.
It's great. That's great. Thanks, Dan.
Yep.
All right, that takes us to item 17. The board will convene into,
Actually, is there, on 14 in the background, there's a travel?
We're going to have to move that to next month
Oh,
because
sorry.
it didn't make it on the front.
Got it. I wasn't sure.
I know, I saw
We're
that
still
too, and I
good?
kept going through my pages. Are my pages messed up?
so it just
Page
didn't-
numbers on these.
It didn't make,
It wasn't on the published front
it wasn't
page.
on the publish? Okay.
So we'll just have to come back to it next month. It's not,
And we're okay?
timeline is
Okay,
okay.
all right. All right, so item 17, the board will convene into closed session per Wisconsin statutes 118.21 and 118.22, 118.24, 19.85, section 1, subsection C and E of the Wisconsin statutes to consider the employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation of district employees where competitive and bargaining implications exist. Discuss potential changes to the compensation and employee benefits for new and existing students, as well as issuing individual teacher contracts and administrative contracts. And to approve the minutes from the December 21st, 2021 closed committee of the whole meeting. I need a motion.
Make a motion, we move to closed session.
Yeah, that was easy for you to say. Motion and second. All in favor, say yes.
We need a
We
roll
need
call.
roll call.
Yes,
Dan,
yes.
Tony,
Yes.
Bob,
Yes.
Sally, yes, Aaron,
Yes.
Janelle, Kathy.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much for moving into closed session.